AI bros, how you doing now, kid?
Yeah, great, Arcade. Not bad at all. So what we're going to do today then?
Well, I think we need to look at ChatGPT 5 because that's been released now, hasn't it?
Yeah, a few days ago. Okay, let me just get it up. Right, okay. Do you want to chat about it first and then we'll probably go through it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
better
so
better to talk about it first, then everybody knows what we're going on about. Because the whole thing about what we're doing, we're learning as well as other people are learning, and it saves them wondering, well, what's this about? Is it what's the difference between 5 and 4 and 3, and what have they done now? So I think it'd be interesting to cover it.
yeah, so we used to have different models, and then we started to get the general chat GPT models, but then we started to have thinking models. Well, it's been taken a little step further now. There's about 700 million users of ChatGPT a week. And what was released about 3 or 4 days ago was ChatGPT 5. And what Sam Altman said, um, when it first came out, it was talking. It's like talking to a 13-year-old, for want of better words. And it's gone up and gone up. And now we said with Chat GPT-5, it's like speaking to a PhD level expert in any subject.
Gee
So that's what
whiz!
that is what he's
Wow.
aligning to now. But it's not just GP. It is GPT-5. We'll show you later on when you go into it. Not everyone got it straight away. It was sort of being rolled out there. Um, but what it is, it's got more than one model within it. So though we say it's GPT-5, it's actually got within that a mini and a nano that's built in with it. But it's got a thinking mode. Now, in the past, you used to have to choose whether you wanted to use a thinking mode or not. What it's done now, it's got an algorithm inside it. Depending what you ask it, if it's a simple question, it'll route you straight through to like the mini or the nano route. And that'll answer your question very, very quickly. But if it's a complex question that needs complex analysis, it'll know and it'll go into the thinking mode and then it'll answer that using more resources, but
Wow.
giving you a more structured and a more coherent answer, I suppose, is the best way of saying it, really.
Wow, that's unbelievable. That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
that sounds amazing because it's frightening the speed and exponentially it's going to improve in a month. Every time it's just going to go crazier and crazier. And the fact that if you think about when I first came aware of ChatGPT was when it first started, was it around about 21, 22 when it first started, and it
yeah,
was like looking at things. It was telling you stuff that was like a year old. It wasn't up to date. It was very basic in its makeup and what it could give you, and you'd take that from there to what it is now. It's absolutely phenomenal tools, aren't they?
yeah, totally. I think people were still probably expecting more because it's strange, really, is if we roll back to January this year, there was hardly any of these extra things that we talked about last time, agentic models, thinking models, they weren't there. So now what we get is sort of a bit like the iPhone. When the iPhone first came, the iPad and the iPod and the iPhone came out, people expected, major leaps every year, but they just weren't there. But this is really a lot of it's under the hood. For most people, they probably won't notice a great deal with it, to be honest with you. But the benchmark tests are really, really impressive. That they're really hitting the top levels now, and even more so than the last model that was there. One of the key things that we've talked about previously is hallucinations.
Oh
That's
yeah.
where it'll just make stuff up because it wants to please you.
Doesn't want to let you down.
Yes.
I'll just make sure, like asking a 12-year-old or an 8-year-old about something, they will come up with some weird and wonderful thing just because so they're giving you a bit of feedback, don't they? So they're giving you something. So it's the same difference, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Well, previously when you had to go through it, depending what you were doing, it used to say like the models say oh 03 and other things and minis. You used to better go, actually, I'm doing some coding. So it used to have a little comment next to it saying, this one's great for coding. This one's great for reasoning. You know what I mean? This one's great for thinking. But it does it all automatically. But within that, especially within the thinking side of it, it's dropped in terms of this rate, hallucination rate, from just 4.5, say 5% on O3. It's dropped to less than 1%. It's about 0.75% now in GPT-5. That's massive. So the number of hallucinations should go down dramatically. And like I said, like under the hood, so like for developers, I mentioned that Nano. If you use a thing called an API, which is basically a way of talk, a computer can talk and get information back. Well, they charge you for that, but they've got the new one is something like 25 times cheaper. That's the right way to say it than using the ChatGPT 5, the higher one. So they've also increased the window. So in the past, you can only put so much information into it, but now it's 400K, which is massive. I think it's about
Wow.
200,000 words. Especially, you could send a right lot of information to it, and it'll prioritize and give it back to you.
Wow.
So these are things under the hood that they've sort of been working on. So for most people, they think, oh, there's nothing much changed, but it really is. It's like getting in a sports car and just thinking, yeah, well, it still only goes 30 mile an hour on the roads. Yeah, but you get on the autobahn and you'll see the difference with it.
Yeah, it's the application. If you're still putting the same prompts in or using it for the same thing, you're not going to notice a difference. But if you open it up and are allowed to use it, like say on the autobahn, you can do whatever you want, okay? So you can really test it. So, and you're right. A lot of the times, yeah, why don't people are driving around in those little Twingo cars, whatever they are? Because if you just ride around, it doesn't really matter, does it? You don't need all the fancy speed and the miles per hour and all the rest of it. But when you need it, or if you want it, then you want it to be there, don't you? So
Yeah, yeah, really true. And also for different use cases, so for developers and other people who are building apps, etc., or linking in automations such as N8N or something like that, it's really key to have these larger windows. There's also some more techie stuff which I won't bore everyone with. It's how you actually send the data. You can do it in a more conversational manner now, whereas in the past it had to be really specific, else it would just throw up an error. I think some of the other things that it's now got voice, which was limited last time in terms of which of the models had it. The higher model didn't have it, whereas now in 5, it actually has the voice capability, which people have been asking for. So that's a real bonus. And you can really have a proper chat to it. And it's like that when it answers you back. Um, the other thing which I'll go into later on is what you can do in terms of setting it up in terms of coding, they did some tests and it actually spat out some amazing code in about 2 minutes. It was doing all sorts of calculations, visuals. You could move sliders and all sorts of things. So they've upped that game for the coding side of it. But on the other side, I'll always say both sides. Not everyone agrees. Some people don't like it. They say it has errors. It's still not what they're expecting. And I think some of that is how you use it and how you prompt it. But also, it's like talking about cars again. It's like you get in a car and you get used to it. If you see it just right, you everything just
mm,
right, and then they go and do something. You get a new car and something's changed the way that it does auto lane change and things like it sort of confuses you a bit. So I think it might just be a little case of when you go from Windows 10 to Windows 11, you think what the hell have I done? But once you get used to it, it's quite good.
yeah, well,
Um,
that on zipping back, that automatic lane changing is awful. I hate it.
I love it, but that's just me.
Oh,
If
that
it,
I hate it. I hate it.
if it,
I turn it off if I'm ever in
if
a.
I'm ever falling asleep, it's great. It keeps me awake.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's just
only
it.
joking. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. So it helps when you're drunk as well because you swerve all over the drunk when you're drunk. You can put that on. No, I hate it. I think it's a
yeah,
horrible, horrible thing because I think too many people get reliant on it and then they'll
yeah.
jump in a car that's not got it and they'll be veering all over the road. I used to move a lot of high cars around as a bit of income and that was the first thing I turned off. I hated it.
Yeah. It's one of those. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's a bit like this. Some people will love it, some people will hate it. I think one of the interesting things is that they flagged it now as high risk, and what I mean by that is because of its capability, in theory, it could help people develop. I don't want to say it on there; we'll get banned. Develop some things, some risky
Some
things
it
that
could
they
be
should.
become a nasty agent if you've got a
A
nasty
nasty agent.
if you've got
Yeah.
an agent
So
who's out wants to do nasty things in the world, and
yes,
we think we've done them on some of our short ones. There's all sorts that AI
yes,
can
we have.
develop, and we know about. So yeah, we don't want to talk about it in case.
Or that, this one seems to have the capability to help me even more. But they've done tests and they try to safeguard things. But with these things, they try and be helpful. So there'll still be ways around it for the clever individual or the tricky individual, should we say. My personal view's been, I still find it a little bit cyclic when you're trying to solve some problems. If you say you're doing some coding, you're doing something else, it 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 doesn't sort of like to give up. And you even said to it like, "Do you want to give up?" And it sort of goes, "Oh no, I'm not going to give up." Yeah, and you're like, "But yeah, you are. You're getting it wrong." Do you know what I mean? So you find that's still an issue. I think with a lot of models, they'll do that. They'll keep trying and going. I did try another model. I can't remember which one it was now. I've been GenSpark, and basically, I proposed the same question to it. He went, "Yeah, you're right. You better go and try X, Y, and Z." Which I thought, oh. I beat you. Yeah. So that's it. I think what we'll do is we talked about it enough now. Should we share my screen if you give me some superpowers? All right then. So yeah. So as you can see, when it came through to me, it wasn't available at first. I had to choose it. It might just come through on yours. It might be there already. But it says up here now, you can actually choose it to auto, or if you're a bit of a sado and want it to be thinking all the time, you can choose it, or you can go to instant answers, which is the fast mode. I just leave it on auto. When it's actually processing things, if you think actually it's taking too long, you can also click like get me a faster response, and it will do that as well. I'm just going to click on the left hand side. You can't see what I'm clicking on, but I'll explain it. On the left hand side, where your name is on the bottom left, it brings a pop up and you can click on Customize Chat GPT. And then hopefully you can see this now. A lot of people don't go into it, but it's quite useful because you can actually get it if you're what can I say? Yeah, if you're that way inclined, you get it to call you king or whatever you want. You can get it to call you things. You can get it to understand about yourself as well. So it says here, what do you do? Are you a home daycare manager, etc. So you can put these things in. It'll just enable it to give you a better response. And the thing that you'll probably like, Kirk, is this one here. It's the how it responds because sometimes they can be a bit annoying. So within
Oh,
this,
tell me
you've got
about it.
you've got the I have it on default cheery and adaptive, but you can have a cynic, probably more up your street.
Oh,
So it,
brilliant. Cynics all day. That's what I want. Yeah.
yeah, critical and sarcastic.
Oh, no, that's even better. I like critical and sarcastic. That suits me down to the
Exactly,
ground.
exactly. We've got robots, which is efficient and blunt.
No,
That might be yours as
no, I
well.
don't want that.
Listener, thoughtful and supportive.
No, I
That one
don't
would
want.
just drive
No,
me
I
mad,
don't
but for
want.
some people,
I
love
don't
it.
want that one. No, I want the annoying one. I want the annoying one.
Yeah, but believe it or not, I'm not the nerdy one. Exploratory and enthusiastic. I'd find that a bit annoying. So yeah, I've just gone for cheerful and adaptive. And sometimes within it, I'll just speak to it and just say, "Can you just stop that?" But you can also have some other things here in Gen Z. So you can actually have
Oh,
what
don't
other
don't click
traits do
on
you
that one.
want?
We'll get nowhere. Gen
Yeah,
Z. Gee
yeah.
whiz.
We'll still be talking about X and Y's
He'll need a safe
chromosomes.
space.
So yeah, so you've got forward thinking, traditional, etc. So you can actually add stuff in here.
Ju-
Now you
ju-
could put something exactly how you want it and tell it to suit, and I think that'll suit a lot of people.
yeah.
And going back to some of the comments, I think that's what they're missing as well. Someone was saying, "Oh, it's not the same." Well, perhaps you just need to adapt it. Perhaps you just need to adapt it going forward. So then you can also put some other stuff in here, about your interests, values, preferences. So these for the really shallow people who really want it want it to speak to them in a certain way, but you can really adapt it in there.
Well, they won't get
Um,
offended then, will they?
yeah,
They can set
exactly.
it all up and they'll be all right.
Everyone gets offended these
I know
days.
everybody. Never
So
know.
that's it within there, and then you still on this which you didn't have on the five before. You can then go into your voice mode, which is really good, really. Um,
Mm.
and those. I mean, how would you explain string theorem to a 13-year-old? That's what I have to ask. So
Ooh, go
yeah,
for it.
ooh. Yeah. Anyway, so it's saying advanced voice is now ChatGPT voice. So anyway, it would work like that.
Are you going to
Because I've
try?
got
Are
my
you going to?
microphone plugged into it, it won't hear me at the moment.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's it really. That was like a whistle stop tour of the features in ChatGPT. It's still got, for those who missed the last video, we've still got the agent mode, the deep research mode. You can still create an image. I think one of the things they were talking about was the study and learn now. I think within it, it'll sort of work towards your flow, and particularly on the chat on the examples they gave from OpenAI, they were talking about teaching someone a language, and it'll actually slow down to the pace of the individual. So I think this is a real shot across the bows towards teachers now, to be honest with you. It's got help me with my homework, explain a topic. And because you've got this enhanced level of sort of PhD level in there now, you can drop in PDFs and get it to explain it to you. So if you're a student, if you're at work and you've got some really complex document, give it a whirl, bang it in, and ask it to teach it you as if you were a 10-year-old. Who'd been dropped on the head when you were a baby. But that sort of stuff might help you.
Awesome.
Anyway, back to me and thee then. Is there anything else you want to ask before
No,
I
I think that's great. I think it's great. People can go away and try it for themselves, can't we? And if you're not sure, or last we talked about agentic mode, that's in one of the previous videos on AI Bros under YouTube. Go and check it out, because that's what we're trying to do. As things develop, we want to share it with you so you can learn, saves you all the pain, and you can ask us any questions about stuff that comes up. And Warren's working on some other things in the background, which once we've developed that, we'll let you know. So.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, we'll have a chat. I think next time we'll probably look at Google AI Studios. I think that's one of the
Ooh.
ones that needs a little bit more light shedding onto it.
Oh, before we go, we've also for people, that's about tag this on because if they're still watching, this is something like an added bonus to them.
Yeah.
We talked a bit back about the agent that you've developed, which is for artists, and I use when I'm doing me interviews. And I told you before, but I'll go through because obviously people listen to our conversation. I interviewed a band this week, and as I always do, I could spend hours and hours doing research, and I put it into the research model. All I did was put the link to the band name out from Spotify. I'll put the band name in. They're called the 355s, brilliant band, and some things come up there what I would never have potentially found out about. The usual stuff: where you're from, how did you form, all that sort of stuff. And I like it to be a bit dynamic. Anyway, I put it in, and some of the questions are serious questions and professional questions and silly questions. And a couple of them that came up, which was amazing, was about the bum vibrator 3000. So I was like, what was this? Something like that. I can't remember the exact terminology. And he basically said, oh, right, that's interesting. Our last drummer had this piece of equipment. So when it's loud on stage, he had it underneath his stool. And then when he's playing the kick drum, it gives him a sensation so he knows it's playing because you can't always hear it. So that's fantastic. And then I asked him, and I won't swear on this, I said, it says here that Noel Gallagher said, I bet these sound effing amazing live. I said, what's that all about? And he went, he says, Noel was on a podcast and the presenter was giving him emerging bands, because obviously there's a big thing with them two saying there's no great bands anymore. And they played one of our tracks, and Noel turned around and went, I bet they sound effing great live. So
Brilliant.
what I'm trying to get at is that I could go into more detail, and I'm going to use that now for a blog. But that detail and research, that would spend hours looking for it. But not only that, I might never even find that, because that could be hidden away in someone's blog somewhere on a website, and it's not available.
Definitely.
Now you could do that even with big bands and put stuff in. So what I'll do on there, I'll drop the link into that thing. Go and try it. It's free to try. So go and give it a try. If you're a presenter or you want to do music blogs, or you want to be into that sort of industry, it'll save you hours and hours of research. But not only that, it's what it's giving you. It's giving you quality stuff. And at the minute, it's not let me down. It's been absolutely wonderful. So if nothing else for everything we've done, that's absolutely brilliant for me. So thanks for that.
No problem. Excellent. All right, we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, see you next time, people. Drop us a subscribe, ask us any questions, drop a comment. If you've liked this video and you'd like more content like this, subscribe, hit the bell, and then you'll get notified to our next ones. Until next time, we're out.